we are going to learn how to solve adding, subtracting fractions. We are going to learn first adding fractions. In order to add a fraction, the denominator has to be the same. For example, number 1, fraction with the same denominators. A 3/8 plus 2/8 equals 5/8. All you have to do is 3 plus 2. Okay, so B 3/8 plus 3/8. Since they have the same denominator, so you add 3 plus 3 equals 6/8. Since they have both even numbers, you can simplify divide by 2 on both fraction. 6 divided by 2 is 3, 8 divided by 2 is 4, so the answer is 3/4. Now let's learn fraction with different denominators. As we said, you have a fraction with a different denominator. You have to convert them into the same denominator. Example number 1. 1/4 plus 3/8. To find the least common multiples, I have a special way doing it. Let's put the inverse side of dividing, the dividing sign like this, and then I flipped this, make it an inverse division symbol. Both 4 and 8 can be divided by 4, so we can use 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Now, since nothing in common, so the least common multiples is 4 times 2 equals 8. The problem going to become 4 times 2 is 8. The 8, we're going to keep the 3/8 in here. Then if you multiply 2, you have to multiply 2 on the top also on the numerator. So now they have the same denominator. 2/8 plus 3/8. We can add them together. 2 plus 3 is 5. Let's see example number 2. 1/3 plus 2/5. Since 3 and 5 has nothing in common, we can using 3 times 5, LCM equals 15. So we're going to have 3 times 5 and 5 times 3. Using the same LCM. If you multiply 5 on the denominator, you make sure multiply on the numerator also. 2 times 3, okay? So we have 15, and 15 are the least common multiples. 3 and 6 equals 3 plus 6 is 9. Since 9 and 15 can be divided by 3, so we're going to simplify by 3. As I said, always simplify your fraction. So the answer is going to be 3/5. Let's do one more. 3/8 plus 1/6. We're using the way of inverse dividing sign, 8 and 6, to find the least common multiples. Both 8 and 6 can be divided by 2, so we're using 2 here. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 and 4 has nothing in common, so multiply 2 times 4 times 3. The least common multiples will be 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. So least common multiples will be 24. So we're going to using 3 times 8 is 24, and 3 times 3 is 9. 6 times 4 and 1 times 4. Make sure when you multiply the factor, you multiply both the denominator and the numerator. So we have a 24, 9 over 24, and 4 over 24 equals 9 plus 4 is 13. So we have 13 over 24. That will be the answer. Now we're going to learn fraction with mixed numbers. Adding fraction with mixed numbers. For example, we have 1.5 plus 1.5. Since they have the same denominator, so we can add 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 over 2. And 2 over 2 also equals 1. So we have 2 plus 1 equals 3. In here, I want to show you something. The 1, when we learn other fractions, we using 1 can be divided into 2 over 2, or 3 over 3, or 4 over 4, or any, for example, can be 9 over 9. This is going to be very useful when you learn to changing or rename a fraction. B. We will use this one when we learn subtracting fractions. 1 and 1/2 plus 1 and 3/4. 2 and 4, we're going to find the least common multiples. 2 and 4 can go into 2, so 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So the least common multiples, 2 times 2 equals 4. So we're going to have 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 2 also. Make sure when you multiply the denominator and also multiply on the numerator. So we have 1 3/4. Now we can have 1 and 2/4 plus 1 and 3/4. We add them together. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 3 is 5 over 4. Since it's a improper fraction, we'll change 5 over 4 into 4 plus 4 plus 1 over 4. Remember, we can always break them down, a 4 and a 4 into a 1, so it'd be 1 1/4. So 2 plus 1 1/4 equals 3 1/4. This is something we're going to use this instead of making them. There's other way of doing this one. You can do 5 divided by 4. 4 going to 5 ones, remainder 1. So it's also 1 and 1/4. C. 2 and 3/5 plus 2 and 1/6. 5 and 6, the least common multiples will be 30. So we're going to use 30 as our least common multiples. 2 3/5, denominator multiplied by 6, and numerator also multiplied by 6. And 2, 6 times 5, so numerator also times 5. So the answer will be 18 over 30 plus 2 and 5 over 30. So we have 4 and 23 over 30. So that will be the answer. Now let's learn subtracting fractions. To subtract a fraction, we have the same thing. We have to make the denominator has to be the same. Example number 1, fractions with same denominator. Example A, 3/8 minus 1/8. Since they have the same denominator, so we can use 3 minus 1 equal 2/8. Both are even numbers. We can simplify them by 2, so the answer will be 1/4. B, 1 and 3/17 minus 1/17. So we'll be having 3 minus 1 is 2, so that will be the answer. Now let's learn fraction with different denominators. Example A, 3/5 minus 1/2. These common multiples equals 5 times 2 equals 10. So we're going to change in 5 times 2 denominator. So we're also using the 2 raising up. 3 times 2 also numerator. 2 times 5 on the denominator, and then 1 times 5 on the numerator. So we have 10 at the same denominator. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 5 is 5. So we have 6 minus 5 equals 1 over 10. 5 over 6 minus 2 over 5. We have the different denominator. So 5 times 6 equals these common multiples is 30. So we have 6 times 5 on denominator, so we have 5 times 5 on the numerator, 5 times 6 on the denominator, and 2 times 6 on the numerator. So we have 30, 2 times 5 is 25, minus 2 times 6 is 12, 5 times 6 is 30. So now we have the same denominator, 25 minus 12 equals 13 over 30. That's the answer. Let's learn with the mixed numbers. 3 and 8 over 9 minus 1.5. These common multiples is 2 times 9 equals 18. So let's see here. We need to change this into a same denominator. 9 times 2 is 18. So we have numerator 8 times 2 also. And on the second fraction we have 1, 2. 2 times 9 equals 18, and so numerator is 1 times 9. We have 3, 18, 2 times 8 is 16, minus 2 times 9 is 18, 1 times 9 is 9. The first fraction is bigger than the second fraction. We can subtract now. 3 minus 1 is 2. 16 minus 9 is 7 over 18. And that's it. 3.5 minus 1 and 2/5. These common multiples is 2 times 5 equals 10. We're going to using 10 as these common multiples. 3, 2 times 5, so 1 times 5 on the numerator, and 2 times 2 and 5 times 2. We have the same denominator now. 10, 5 minus 1, 10, 4. 3 minus 1 is 2. 5 minus 4 is 1. 8 a whole number minus a mixed number. As I said before, we can change this one, the 8 into 7 plus 1 minus 1 and 3/4. And since we need a same denominator, so we're going to change the 1 into 4 over 4. Remember, we can change in 1 into any number as we need. In this case, we're going to change 1 into 4 over 4. So we have 7 plus 1 equals 7 and 4 over 4, minus 1 and 3 over 4. Now with the same denominator, we can subtract now. 7 minus 1 is 6, 4 minus 3 is 1, and the denominator is going to be 4, so 6 and a quarter. Let's do another example. 3 and 5/8 minus 1.5. 8 and 2. Because 2 going to 8 4 times, so we can do the multiples. 2 times 4 is 8, and 1 times 2 is 1. So these common multiples is 2 times 4 times 1 equals 8. So we do not have to change the first one, so keep the first one, subtract the second one. 2 times 4 equals 8. We're going to also make sure 1 times 4 in the numerator. So they're going to be 3 5/8 minus 1 and 4/8. 3 minus 1 is 2. 5 minus 4 is 1 and 1/8. I will do one more example with the same denominator but with a borrow. In this case, 8 and 1/8 minus 6 and 3/8. Since they're the same denominator, we don't have to change anything, but we got a little problem here because 1/8 is less than 3/8, so we have to borrow from the 8. We can break 8 into 7 plus 1 plus 1/8 minus 6 and 3/8. Keep the 7. Which number do we change into the fraction y into 8 and 8 at the same denominator? So we're going using 8 over 8. So 1 equals 8 over 8 in this case. Plus 1/8 and minus 6 3/8. Now we add these together. 8 plus 1 is 9. Denominator is 8 minus 6 3/8. 7. Now the first fraction is bigger than the second fraction. We can subtract now. 7 minus 6 is 1. 9 minus 3 is 6. Denominator is going to be 8. Since they are even numbers, we need to simplify divided by 2. So the answer is going to be 1 and 3 over 4. So 1 and 3/4. This is called borrowing or rename. One more time, I'm going to stress 1 can be any number you want. It can be 1 over 1, 2 over 2, 3 over 3, or maybe 99 over 99 as the same denominator. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Turn on notifications. Thank you.